welcome to episode 7 of the Podratix Gaming Cast. We're already at number 7. It's pretty exciting.
Lucky number 7.
Right. I'm Zach, joined by Sophia.
Hello.
And we have a pretty big discussion today. We're going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the Genesis version.
The sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog 1, rest his soul.
But before we get into that, do you want to jump into what we've been playing recently?
Yeah, I'll let you go first, because mine is kind of more of the same. Like, I have a couple smaller things I can talk about, but I feel like you might have some more stuff. Wow, my waveform's real big. I'm a little scared, but
it is.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I can edit it in post, so
okay.
Hopefully.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. So I guess like new games I've been playing. I've mostly been playing Narita Boy that came out back in March. It's basically a digital drug trip platformer.
Oh.
It's pretty crazy. It's not actually a drug trip, but it kind of feels like it.
Uh-huh.
I'm not even going to attempt to explain the story because it doesn't really try to explain it until, I don't know, a good hour or so in. You start to like pick up on what the game is about. But it's a really fun platformer, and it's got a very interesting story, very interesting writing. Everything is taking place inside a like old gaming computer. So it's like the digital realm, and like everyone talks in this kind of code language. So it's like English, but there's a lot of like code references in there if you know anything about programming.
Okay.
And I know this game was really like praised when it first came out, and I started playing it and I wasn't really in love with it. And then about an hour and a half, I kind of gave it like a couple hours. And after a couple hours, I was sold on this game, and I've been playing it almost nonstop. So
Oh golly. So what is it about it that kind of had you feeling on it?
they didn't. There's a lot of like combat options that you don't unlock until like a good couple hours into the game. So initially, it's just kind of like attacking and jumping, and it didn't feel like particularly great. It just kind of felt generic. Like it felt fine, but nothing to stand out. And then you start getting more like a shoulder bash move and charge attacks, and there's a lot more mechanics that get added later on. So I was hearing that this game was a Metroidvania. It's really not, but it is like it's an exploration based platformer. But there's the backtracking takes place mostly within confined areas that play out more like levels. So, but it's got a very interesting world, a gorgeous art style, a very good soundtrack, very good synth soundtrack. And I can't say much more without spoiling anything, but it's definitely worth playing. It's also on Game Pass. That's how I'm playing it right now. So,
Okay.
I got a month of Game Pass Ultimate for $1, so kind of binging as many like Game Pass games as I can right now.
Gotcha. So you said that you weren't really feeling it, and then like an hour and a half in, so like
Yeah, it's not that it like I wasn't liking it. It just kind of felt like, yeah, this is like I've played a lot of pixel art 2D platformers. Like it didn't really the hooks didn't really get in me until it's a couple hours in. So.
Okay.
And then I've also been playing a lot of Ender Lilies, which I brought up earlier. But this is now my like nighttime before bed obsession. So it's it's only gotten better and more challenging.
Okay.
But I think I mentioned that before. It's like Metroidvania, Souls-like. It has a lot of that kind of like destroyed world, very sorrowful music. The soundtrack is just amazing. It sells the atmosphere of the world better than even the graphics do.
Wow. Yeah. I'm always a sucker for some sad apocalyptic music.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned before, like every time you take down a boss, you get a new spirit ability. Whether it's like a new weapon that you can use infinitely, or one that has a certain amount of uses between rest areas. But then, yeah, all of that stuff's upgradable. There's a lot of RPG elements. It's got a leveling system. It doesn't necessarily feel like you're making a ton of progress because I think it's just your attack power that goes up, and it's not by too much. But I think that's by design.
Oh,
It's obviously meant to be challenging.
so it's kind of like Paper Mario Color Splash.
uh,
Oh wait, no, not even, because in that one it's just your health that goes up.
well, it's yeah, and the leveling, the XP you get is just for your hammer. It's not even attack power. It's just like the paint.
All right, well, never mind then.
But yeah, it's a really good game. I think if you enjoy Metroidvanias, Souls like, or Hollow Knight,
Mm-hmm.
while I really enjoyed Hollow Knight, but I'm going to be honest, I'm enjoying this game more than that. So
I'll have to give it a shot then, because I also really like Hollow Knight. And if you're saying that you like this one more, that's really got my attention.
okay,
Um,
I mean, take it with a grain of salt, just because as much as I enjoyed Hollow Knight, I wasn't like a super fan. I thought it
mhm,
was really good.
mhm.
But I didn't put in nearly as many hours as I saw you did. So
It's just it is such Hollow Knight is just such a unique game. It's just like a really unique world to wander around in. And it's just I don't know. It feels good to play and progress and explore. Um, so yeah, it's kind of a good game. I was um, there was an indie direct recently, and I saw like Silk Song was trending like an hour before it went live, and I was like, these clowns, as I'm putting on my own clown makeup.
I kind of feel like at this point it would be a surprise if it did show up at one of these indie showcases.
What's going to happen is Nintendo's going to have an entire direct centered solely around Silk Song because it's such a big deal and people are so excited for it.
It'll focus on two games, Pikmin 4 and Silk Song.
Mm.
The
That'll
two
be
games that were announced and then just disappeared.
that'll be an interesting direct for sure.
That'd be the
Um,
craziest direct ever.
yeah. Yeah, and I'll have to give that a try. That sounds really fun. I'm always down for a good Souls like. A big fan of Metroidvanias.
Yeah.
Um,
And this one's definitely punishing. This is one of those games that like even the basic enemies, if you're not paying attention, can kill you in about 2 to 3 hits.
mhm.
So
Okay, yeah, I'll have to give that a check out. Um, I guess I'll go next.
okay.
I'm the only one in the room. I talked a little bit about it before. I've been playing a lot of Dishonored 2. I already beat it. Um, I did a low chaos run as Emily, who's Corvo's daughter. You get to pick between Corvo or his daughter. So I went with Emily, and I went on a low chaos run, which basically means no killing.
Hmm. Did
Like
you succeed?
so a couple of people died, but like you have to really do a lot of killing in order to raise your chaos. So like if one or two
Okay.
hostiles or civilians accidentally dies, then like it's not going to tip the scale so much.
Okay. So it's
There,
not like you're having to baby the NPCs.
right, right. I beat that, and I really liked it. And another way that the second game improves on the first is that it has a new game plus mode.
Hmm.
The first game did not. So you can go back in with all of you get you like lose all of the powers that you had, but you unlock. Hold on, I'm trying to structure. Sorry, each Corvo and Emily each have like their own powers that they can unlock, but when you beat the game, then you have access to the other person's power set as well.
Oh.
And you get all of the runes that you spent unlocking those powers in your first run added back to your inventory so that you can repurchase a bunch of them like right from the start.
Hmm.
And all there are these items called bone charms, which are they're like they're kind of like the badges in Hollow Knight. They give you different effects, buffs, and whatnot, and you can like craft them. and um, you don't get any of those back, but you have all of the traits that you've already learned, so that you can make, like, when you get raw whalebone, you can make your own charms.
Hmm.
So you get all of those traits back, and you can just like rebuild them. Um,
Okay.
so I've been going through a second run as Corvo, and I've been going for High Chaos, which involves killing just everybody that I can. Um, and it is so wild how much of a different game it is when you do that, because it's less focused on being sneaky and more on just like trying to evade guards long enough to like get a good hit on them. It's a lot of fun. It's very different, and the thing that's kind of like comforting me, because I don't like to be mean, is that in a different timeline, Emily was nice to everybody. So I get to be mean in this one, and it doesn't matter.
So which one is more fun?
They're both fun, honestly.
Okay.
They're both very different. Like it can be a lot of fun, like being super sneaky, um, and killing everybody that you can. It can be a lot of fun, like trying not to be noticed at all. But it can also be fun to just run into a room guns a blazing.
That's
So
cool.
the thing that's really neat is that like the game will constantly adapt to the way that you are playing. So like there are these clockwork soldiers that will like they're asleep, but if you start fighting guards, then they wake up. So like the world kind of listens to how you're doing, how you interact with it. So I've
Hmm.
been having a lot of fun with that. Um, I've kind of picked up a couple of other games. There's a new one that came out recently called Chicory. It is like it's like, imagine if Zelda were a coloring book. You play as this little dog named oh wait, no, you get to pick the name for the dog. So you play as this dog. I named mine Pizza. And it's really cute. Everybody's name is food in this game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like your town is called Luncheon. There's a neighboring town, Potluck. Dinners is the big city. And everybody is like named after a food.
Hmm.
Um, you have this magic paintbrush that allows you to paint the world, and you have like it changes in like each area, in like each broad area. But you have like four colors that you can swap between to paint in stuff. Um, and it's a lot. You get like these different brush styles. So like you get like star shapes, or like different drawing, like brush heads that have different effects, like lines or cubes. And it's just a lot of fun, like wandering around and filling in things. And you get like different powers that let you interact with the brush. Like you get the ability to swim through your paint.
Hmm.
You get the ability to like paint walls and then climb up those walls, with the paintbrush. It's just super cute, and it's a lot of fun. It's got some really clever puzzles that involve using the paintbrush. Um,
Okay.
and I highly recommend it. If
I
you
just looked it up on Steam right now. This looks like the most Sophia game ever.
it really is. It's very much a game about being an artist and suffering like self doubt.
Hmm.
Um, it is. I haven't finished it yet, but I will say that it is very touching. I would say if you are an artist, you owe it to yourself to play this game, because it is a lot of fun, and it touches on a lot of subjects that I think a lot of artists, um, kind of deal with. Um,
That's cool.
Yeah, I really like it. The other one is Samus Returns on the 3DS.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. Uh, I have modified my 3DS so that I can sideload games onto it. And because there's so many like a game, there's so many good games on the 3DS that I've wanted to get for a very long time, but I also haven't wanted to spend $60 a piece to play. So it feels really good to finally be able to play these different things. And I just remembered another one. I want to get Yokai Watch 3 because I have the soundtrack to that game, and it is amazing.
I've only played the first one.
I tried the demo for it, and it's just like it didn't stick with me. But like
Yeah.
I've seen gameplay of the third one, and it looks like more my speed because it's
The
like
one that I think looks the best is 4 on the Switch, and we never got that here in the States. So,
maybe someday.
I mean, it's level 5, and they kind of went, yeah, we're done making, like, localizing our games in the West. So it's really going to be on Nintendo if we get
Uh,
it or not, because it's not going to be on level 5.
well, shoot, that means we're never gonna get Fantasy Life 2.
Yeah, I mean, even if they make it, it's going to be only in Japan, probably.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I've been playing that. I haven't gotten very far into it.
Okay.
I had kind of forgotten like what the gameplay loop of Metroid 2 was. So it's very different. You kind of just wander around and you kind of stumble upon Metroids.
Hmm.
And you do battle with them. They're really annoying. Um, this it, I I was a little surprised. I guess I forgot how difficult Metroid games could be.
Yeah, this Metroid Samus Returns is pretty tough,
Yeah.
even without the hard mode and fusion mode.
Yeah. So that was a surprise. I don't really have much to say about it. Spider Ball is OP. And I think it seems like they've done things to make it less OP because
Yeah.
I've played the Game Boy original, and it was you basically could explore everything just by hanging onto a wall and holding left,
Yep.
and you would just wander around the entire map that way.
And it was so hard to tell where you were because the screen was so zoomed in and everything was just black and white and there was
Hmm.
no map. Yeah, like Metroid 2 in my opinion is easily the worst game in the Metroid series. I get that there are some people that like it, but I went back and like replayed it a couple years ago and I was like, man, I just don't like this game.
I
It's not
I
good.
I would say that like I agree. Yes, it is bad, but I still think that the first Metroid game is worse because at least I have actually managed to play and beat Metroid 2, and I've never once made any significant amount of progress in Metroid on the NES.
Yeah, I guess because like I grew up with it, and I had the Game Boy Advance version of the original Metroid,
Hmm.
like the NES Classics or whatever, and I spent like so many hours in car trips, just like wandering everywhere until I finally beat it.
Mhm.
But I had more time then, so
Yeah, that's fair.
which I think is like how most of these old NES games are. Like, I mean, I still enjoy the original Legend of Zelda, but that's because I know where every dungeon is. I know where all the secrets are. It's not a very good game if you haven't played it before.
Yeah. It is so wild, like looking back at these stuff and like just kind of trying to put yourself in the mindset of like the time when these things came out.
Right.
How did people have the patience for something like this? And it's simply like they had the time for it.
Right. At the time, there weren't as many games, therefore not as many options, and
Hmm.
games were as expensive, if not more expensive back then. So,
Yeah. So it was a big deal. Like that was like these days you could get a handful of games for like $5.
right.
But like back in the day, so few games released that when you got one, it was a big deal. Like that was several months for you probably.
Right. Okay,
Um,
well, keep me updated on Samus Returns. I want to hear your thoughts on. Do you already know the ending of the game?
yeah.
Okay. Do you
Yeah,
know the secret ending?
I don't know. Have they've added stuff in the remake?
Yeah.
I know that they added some stuff to kind of
Oh, do you?
tie it to Prime, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what they've added.
Oh, okay. So you don't know how it ends then?
Okay, I know how the original ends.
Yes, that's not how this game ends anymore.
Oh, okay,
And
interesting.
the Chozo memories that you collect throughout the game. If you 100% the game, you get like I think it's the 14th or 15th like secret one, and it sets up Dread. So that was
Hmm.
one of the reasons that I kind of knew they were making another one is because it was they were clearly setting up for something. And the
Okay.
latest Dread trailer kind of confirms all the suspicions that we had based on the ending. So
Okay. Well, it shouldn't be too hard to 100% it because the game from the get go gives you a find everything button.
it does, yeah. It's one of those things like I tried to not use it too much unless I was really stumped and felt like quitting the game. But
Hmm.
I think it's a lot better designed too than the
Yeah.
original Metroid 2. So,
Yeah.
but it does have a lot of accessibility options, which is nice.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like it's always good when stuff like that can be played by anyone.
Right. And as long as it's like not forced down my throat like funky mode, then I'm fine with it. Oh, so I did have a backlog game real quick. I'm going to
uh,
throw in there. So I played Mega Man Roman numeral 2 for the first time,
oh.
which is different than Mega Man 2.
Oh.
So there's a very confusing naming scheme. So in Japan, they made a Game Boy spin-off to the main series called Rockman World. And then in the US, they called it Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge, which I've already played. Um, and it's just like a worse version of Mega Man 1 with like
Hmm.
some story changes. And I think it has
Wait, is
four of
it
six.
possible for Mega Man 1 to be worse than it is?
Geez, you just know how to pick on some of my favorite games, don't you?
Apparently.
First Super Mario 64, and then Pinobi. No, I'm just kidding. That game's not very good.
We're gonna have to talk about that. We're gonna have to talk because sorry to like
No, no, go ahead.
derail you here. But I started playing it a little bit just because I was so curious. I've never played it.
Yeah,
I only ever had the magazine with the walkthrough for it. And it's so weird. The weirdest thing is that I found out that they made a PlayStation 1 version of it, which
it's
is
just
it's
so
so
mind
wild
blowing.
because the PlayStation 2 was like well established as a thing at that point. Like I don't know why they were still making PS1 games.
Right. Yeah, that's just weird. It's just weird.
So,
Anyway, so in the states they called it Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge. It had four of the six Robot Masters, and then you battled four of the eight Robot Masters from the second game.
hmm.
Then in Japan they made a sequel called Rockman World 2. So here they were like, oh shoot, we didn't think they were going to make a sequel, I guess. So they called this one Mega Man 2, but used Roman numeral numbers.
So it's different.
Yes. Why
Okay.
why it couldn't have just been like Mega Man World and Mega Man World 2? I don't know. So
Because the Americans wouldn't buy it.
I,
They a whole world Americans don't know what to do with that. They're still wrapping their heads around land.
can't move on to World yet,
Yeah.
let alone Galaxy.
Oh, I think we're all still waiting for Universe.
Mega Man Universe. Wait, wasn't that a game that got canceled?
Mega Man Universe.
Yeah.
I was talking about Mario.
Oh, okay.
Or would no? See, would it be Universe or would it be reality?
I
I
think
guess
it
that's going to be the Mario movie.
apparently. So
um,
it's basically it starts with the four remaining robot masters that you didn't fight in the first game,
mhm.
and the stages are basically remixed versions of their stages from the NES games. And then you go on to Wily's Lair, and then you have to fight 4 of the 8 Robot Masters from Mega Man 3, very original, and then basically move from there to the final boss. There's like one new character who's like a Mega Man killer or something, and he's like riding a jackhammer,
Oh
and it's
no.
like the easiest boss ever. It's supposed to be
Mega
like
Man's mortal nemesis, Jack Hammerman.
I forget what his name is. There was a character like it's part of a Mega Man killer series with Enker being the first guy from the first Mega Man or Rockman World game.
Mhm.
Um, it's in general, it's an okay Mega Man game. It's actually a pretty good Game Boy game, but this kind of fits with what I was talking about when we were doing our like Nintendo console ranking. Was that the Game Boy? The Game Boy's library is just like made up of mostly games, like game series that are just worse on Game Boy. Like the kind of it kind of feels like the yeah we have Mega Man at home kind of thing.
Mega Man at home.
Yes, and this is like it just feels like a cheaper version of it.
Oh
Um,
no.
just every like the your Mega Buster shots move so much slower. Mega Man, it's way more zoomed in. Mega Man jumps like super low, so there's platforms that are like straight from Mega Man 2 on the NES, and you're like in that game I'm able to jump up to them, and in this game I just can't. So you have to slide under it.
Oh
Yeah, and besides that, it's just like it's the easiest Mega Man game I think I've ever played. So
wow.
I actually recorded footage of it. And I'll probably put it up for this episode.
Okay.
And it's my first initial run at this game, and I beat it without a game over, and I still had like plenty of lives left. So like, there's just tons of one-up drops that occurred. Most of the bosses I took down with just the Mega Buster because I didn't even need to waste ammo.
Mm.
It's like never the case in a real Mega Man game. But yeah, it was fine. It's kind of hard to compare it to the other games just because like I feel like I have to take into account that it's a Game Boy game, and so that kind of automatically makes it better. But if I were to just compare it to the NES ones, this is just like a cheap knockoff.
If you
This
were
is
to
Mega Man at home.
if you were to rank it like as its own thing, like just as a game.
Um, I'd say it's like kind of mediocre.
Okay. Okay. Well,
5 out of 10, too much water.
I'm sure. Um, yeah, I mean, I think I've already said I'm really like I think the character Mega Man is
Yeah,
really interesting, and the Robot Masters are a lot of fun. I don't care for the gameplay at all.
yeah. At least this one, because in Mega Man 2 and this one, Mega Man Roman numeral 2, you do have the metal blade, which consumes very little ammo, and you can aim in all 8 directions. So
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever played 2, but that's definitely the way to go for most of the game.
I'm like I'm like familiar enough with Mega Man's move set. So I have yeah I know about Sawblade.
Okay.
Sawblade beats Woodman, or is it
That
Fire?
is correct.
I don't
No,
know.
it beats Woodman.
Okay, and then I don't know where you go from there,
I think it's
because
is it
I know
Airman or
I know
Bubbleman?
that there's an order.
Yeah, I always take out Bubbleman next because he's just like a total pushover. But I think Airman is weak to Leaf Shield,
Mm.
and then I think from there it's Crash Man, which in this game, Mega Man Roman numeral 2 is Clash Man for some reason.
Ah,
Very different character.
cl-
Oh,
cla-
also the
Clash of
music.
Man.
The music sucks,
Oh no.
which I've never said about a Mega Man game before. But it's like it's 8-bit garbage. It's so
Oh,
bad. Like, oh, I mean, for a
it's
franchise known for music, like surely you at least enjoy the music, even if you don't care at all about
yeah,
the game.
yeah,
Surely you've listened
yeah,
to the
yeah,
music.
absolutely. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I think one of my favorite anecdotes
Yeah.
is like the composer filled out the application to for to make the music, and she'd never written music before, and ended up making like some of the most iconic tracks in gaming history, like in the series.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's, I don't know, that's just always been hugely inspirational to me as someone who considers herself kind of okay at music.
I think you're pretty good. I've heard some of your stuff. It's pretty good.
I
It's probably
appreciate
better than what I could do. So
I appreciate that.
yeah, so that's basically all I have to say on Mega Man Roman numeral 2. I love that I have to say that every time.
What a
Uh,
what a great title. What a great game.
so do you want to move on to the meat of the podcast, which is our Sonic the Hedgehog 2 discussion?
Yeah, I'm so hungry for this meat. Let's get into it.
So right off the bat, I just want to say that like I know we complained a lot about the first Sonic game and how
Mm-hmm.
like really good the mechanics are and the level design in Green Hill Zone and how they never ever capture that again after this. I kind of feel like most of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is Green Hill Zone in that sense. I mean like what a sequel, right? Like, it
Yeah,
kind of does just everything significantly better.
yeah, for
One,
sure.
but we'll get to that.
Every single zone feels distinct and unique from all the others. Um, that in just like a really fun and refreshing way. Like you never really know where you're going next, which is exciting because there's a lot of variety.
Right.
But also, it's like I don't I don't understand how it is that like why how did we get here, and why are we here? How do these places connect? Which is something I know that 3 kind of fixes with the level transitions.
Right.
But it's not such a big deal also because this is like from an era of gaming where that is still fairly arcadey.
Right. I think what the last 3 are connected, right? Sky Chase, Wing Fortress, and Death Egg. I mean,
Yeah,
those are all kind of connected.
yeah.
At least Sky Chase and Wing Fortress. I guess it's kind of assumed that from there you kind of blast off to the Death Egg, but
Hmm. Yeah. I really like this. It felt like at any point, it felt like no matter where I was going, even if I fell off of like where I was headed, I was always going to go somewhere, and I wasn't going to end up at a dead end.
right.
Which is mostly true. There were only like a couple of places. Like I think Mystic Cave and Oil Ocean. I got caught in places where I had to like keep going back, and then I would miss the jump and have to do it over again.
Yeah.
But other than that, like it didn't really matter where I ended up. I always could just keep moving forward.
Right. And this game kind of introduces the idea that higher is better. That
Hmm.
like whatever the highest route is usually the fastest one. Usually has like the most rings. And they really play on that with the aquatic ruin zone, where like it's a water stage, but if you're good enough, it's not. You know what I mean? Like they use the water as a um, basically as a punishment for not playing well.
Yeah, I'm not good at Sonic. I spent most of my time in the water.
I used to, but I have played this game like a million times. So
Yeah, I was kind of meh on that one. I wasn't sure if it was just like a thing with the emulator, or if like this is how the level works. It does like the background foliage kind of like move around and like stick with the screen in some places.
I thought most of it was all parallaxed,
Okay,
but
because like I kept having this issue in a couple of spots where like it was hard to like focus on stuff because like bits of the background seemed or foreground seemed to like stick to the screen in a weird way.
I don't recall that.
It wasn't a super big deal, and it only happened in like a couple of places. But
Gotcha.
it was something that I noticed, and I wasn't sure if like it was intentional or if it was something because I was emulating it.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But then I've only played on the legal versions.
hey hey kids, piracy is wrong.
Um, yeah.
That's
So
no good.
so do you want to talk about Tails real quick?
Um,
Since I mean, he's
he's
shown and advertised as like the game's big mechanic,
yeah. I've often heard
which is in air quotes mechanic.
I've often heard it said that like Sonic 2 and I guess also 3 is like the perfect little brother game.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really get a chance to do it in this one. But I think you could plug in a second controller, and another person can play as Tails, and Tails can die as many times as he pleases, and it won't like end the. He's not really penalized for it.
Yeah, and he dies when you're not controlling him. He dies frequently.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like you're kind of doing your own thing. You're focusing on platform, and you just hear boom.
Yeah. There's really only one part of the game where him getting hit actually means something. I don't know if we want to touch on this now.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I do guess I don't really have much to say about him. It's really cool that you kind of have a sort of shadow character who can pick up a little bit of the slack behind you. So like if you miss a couple of rings, then like he might grab some for you. So
Right.
that's really nice. Also having like an extra buddy to deal damage on the bosses.
Yeah, that is actually genuinely nice.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's really cool. It certainly it. I don't feel like the experience is harmed by the addition of Tails. But I don't think that it's necessarily enhanced by the presence of Tails.
Right, right. Just another like charming character in the Sonic universe.
Yeah, Tails is okay. He can stay.
And then also the soundtrack.
Yeah. The I think one of the things I said before was how much I liked the soundtrack of the first game.
Hmm.
Because the Genesis has that good FM synth.
Yeah.
And that makes a comeback in the second game. Lot of good, really good stuff. I think I much prefer the Emerald Hill Zone to Green Hill Zone theme.
Hmm.
It has like a lot. Like Green Hill Zone is very like upbeat and happy and whatnot. But there's something about Emerald Hill Zone that feels like there's like a little bit of like minor versus major going on throughout
Hmm.
the song, which I really like because it kind of sets this tone of like we're upbeat and excited and on an adventure, but there's there's not so good stuff up afoot. Um,
Yeah.
and I really like that tonally.
I think you're the only other person that I've heard say that because I've always preferred Emerald Hills soundtrack, but almost everyone else goes like, "Oh, yeah, it's Green Hill Zone," you know. But
Yeah, I I
they're
pay.
both good.
Yeah, they're both good. They're just both very different.
Yeah.
And I think the Emerald Hill Zone kind of is flavored in a way that speaks stronger to me than Green Hill Zone. But it's not worse.
And then of course Chemical Plant is just like a masterpiece. But
Yeah. I really like Plant Zone has got a really good theme to it.
Aquatic
Which
Ruin's not bad. I do genuinely love Casino Night. It's got that kind of swanky
Yeah,
casino theme to it.
it's
It's
got a
perfect.
real good swing to it.
Yeah,
That's a lot of fun. Really kind of funky and sleazy. Um,
a
the
little better than ukuleles.
oh,
Casino.
yeah, it's a lot better. I'm trying to remember the names. Oil Ocean is really good. I especially like the remixes that they did in Mania for
Hmm.
Chemical Plant and Oil Ocean.
Yeah,
Mystic Cave Zone sounds really cool.
yeah. It's like it's a weird track, but it's. I mean, I guess a lot of them are like Hilltop Zone is really fun too.
Yeah, Hilltop was kind of funny. It felt like Hilltop was a better Marble Zone.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Um,
actually I'd never thought about it that way before.
yeah, because
You're right.
it basically fixes all of the problems that I had with Marble Hill Zone, which is it has the multiple paths that Green Hill Zone has, but it has like all the lava and like inner workings and outer like layers that
Right.
Marble Hill Zone has. So it has the seesaws from what is it, Scrap Brain or
Yeah, it's in
Starlight Zone.
Starlight Zone. Yeah.
I the thing is that like I kind of already said this. The last few zones in the first game really just kind of blended together for me
Yeah.
to the point that like I have a hard time like telling them apart in my mind. Like each zone is like wholly unique in
Right.
this one.
Yeah, I think Sky Chase, which is really just kind of almost like a mini game in between real zones. I think that's the only one that like doesn't actually have branching paths.
Yeah, Sky Chase was kind of I don't know. I don't like. I guess thematically, it's a cool little scene to have. But it's so different and so just like there are only two enemies in that part,
Yeah.
and it just kind of feels like this whole time you've had the freedom to explore this level, and then you've been put on rails for just like that's one segment. Thankfully, it's like one short bit at the end of the game, so like I can forgive it. But it just felt really weird after spending the whole game playing a series of levels that really improved on the first game.
Right. Oh, Metropolis Zone's soundtrack.
Yeah, I
This is one of
really
my favorites.
yeah. Metropolis Zone is really good. It's I was trying to figure out like what's the theme. Like this is called Metropolis Zone, but it's just a factory. So
Yeah.
like I think there's an interesting story going on there. The thing that I really like is like the names of these zones, and it's just like why is this? What is the story behind this place? Like what is the purpose? There's a whole zone that is an oil ocean. What? It's just like really I can see how like as a kid like that can be like that just really fuels your imagination. Like you just you know
Right.
you just put all these pieces together, and like maybe some of it is true and maybe some of it isn't. Maybe you're just imagining some of it. I think there's like there's a really fun magic to that I just I really liked.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the Oil Ocean kind of and Metropolis for that matter both kind of feel like they're straight out of the Archie comics or the Sat AM series.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that kind of like, Robotnik's polluting the world kind of thing. So it's like it
Yeah,
does feel like something he'd do, like have an entire ocean that he's just turned into oil. Or maybe
yeah.
he's just made it.
Mm-hmm. Or is it a natural part of the planet? I don't know. Like these are things that you never get answers to, but like just by virtue of them being part of the experience of playing these games, um, you just have to wonder, and
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. Speaking of music, I wanted to talk about a track that's not good. The it's the one where you're on the actual airplane.
Oh, yeah.
It
I can't even think about it. Think of which one that is.
oh gosh, I can't
It's
even
the Winged
remember.
Fortress is the name of the zone. I can't remember the
Yeah.
music for the
Yeah.
life of me.
It sounds. I was trying so hard to like think of a way to describe how it sounds. It sounds so much um, like like late '80s, early '90s PC MIDI soundtrack to like a really just a really bad DOS game. It sounded
Yeah.
like bad SimCity music.
And like coming right off of Metropolis Zone, which is like one of the most fun and like kind of funky sounding
Yeah,
soundtracks in the game. It's like,
it sounds like someone tried to like make the graduation music in like Mario Paint or something.
Wait, is that the Sky Chase or is that the Wing
No,
Fortress? Because now I think I know which one you're talking about.
it's
But
Wing Fortress.
okay,
It just sounds like ceremonial like
yeah,
congratulatory graduation music.
yeah. No, that's the one. I was thinking it was Sky Chase that didn't have a good. Yeah, no, it's. You're right. It's Wing Fortress. It's not good. Yeah, you're right. And it's like the last one. I didn't even like remember it when talking about this. So clearly, it didn't make much of an impact on the like zillion playthroughs I've done.
Yeah, it's just really funny because like the I think the farthest I ever made it was Sky Hill Zone.
Hmm.
Um, the last time that I ever played it, so I've never beaten Sonic 2
Oh,
until
okay.
playing it this time. And so I was pretty pleasantly surprised the whole way through. I'm gonna chalk that up also as a pleasant surprise because it's just so goofy. It just doesn't fit at all with the stage. It just is so funny to me.
Which one?
The Wing Fortress.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, for sure. That's also my least favorite zone in the whole game because it's so easy to like fall off an area and have no idea like if there's a platform there or not.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
that's the one that like the whole time I'm just like super tense holding the controller. um, yeah, Metropolis Zone. I just want to mention that one is the only zone with 3 acts in it,
Yeah, I so
and they're all different, which is pretty cool.
yeah,
My
they
only
really
issue with
are.
that one is the enemies are awful. They have
Yeah.
the starfish that explode in the walls and you can barely see them.
Hmm.
And then they have the mantis enemies that you're just going to get hit. Like there's just there's no way around it. They hold their blades up, so you're going to run right into them every time. And should you happen to jump, they throw their blades like straight up or at an angle, and you almost always get hit by them.
Well, not only that, but I actually checked, and the blades do track your movement.
Do they really?
They really do. So that's why they're really hard to attack.
I mean, in like an otherwise really great game, that's like one of the worst designed enemies. I mean, both of those, really.
Yeah, especially because like it's not just like once or twice. Like there are multiple times where you encounter these things in those stages,
Right.
and it's
And that the
frustrating every
stages have
time.
so many cool ideas, like the nuts that you run up, like
Hmm.
you're screwing up the nuts to use it as like an elevator.
Hmm.
That's a really cool mechanic.
And then the gears, and then like
Yeah.
the bounce paddles on the walls.
Yeah, and like they have like the crankshafts and the like the rolling cages that you run through.
It
Yeah,
feels
there's
like you're running through a giant like metal clock.
right. Yeah, it's like it's an otherwise really great stage, except for that. I think that's like the one unfortunate thing. I mean, most of the time you have enough rings and it's easy enough to just pick them back up, but
Hmm.
it's still like, why is that there? Who thought that was a good idea?
Right. I mean, I, I don't know. I guess they had to keep some of the frustrating stuff from the first game, like the spin ball enemy from Spring Yard Zone. So like
Everyone's favorite.
everyone's favorite memorable Sonic character, Spinball. Um, yeah. So um, gosh.
Special stage?
Yeah. Let's get into it. Let's talk about special stages. I hate these so much. Like
Tell me how
I
you really feel.
oh, let me tell you. Um, uh, yeah, I really didn't like the special stages from the first game. They just felt like an um like the music is pretty fun for them, but like it's
Hmm.
just a visual nightmare. Because the background is constantly changing, and like every single block that you're rolling around in is like moving at a weird rate and also blinking.
Right, and not to mention, like the Super Nintendo was really great at sprite rotation, especially for larger maps due to Mode 7.
Hmm.
Genesis did not have that capability, so everything is like really like stuttery.
Yeah, I noticed that with the I noticed that especially with the gears
Yeah,
in Metropolis Zone.
right.
Um, But so they got the feedback and they said, okay, so they didn't like the special stages in Sonic 1, so we got to figure something else out.
Yeah.
What would be really cool? I know. Let's make it so that it looks like Sonic. The camera is behind Sonic, and you're running in like in third person, like in 3D.
Hmm.
So they put you in this like half pipe type thing that like bends and like curves around, and you're running along it, and you have to get like a certain number of rings before each checkpoint in order to get the Chaos Emerald at the end of the stage. Um, and they're it's just the worst thing to look at
Yeah, the
because
half
you
pipe
don't
itself.
see anything coming until it's already passed.
Right. And the half pipe is like the sprite size is like probably about a quarter of the screen, but it's like blown up. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
the most low resolution thing, and then the sprites for the rings are like much clearer, and it just it like it hurts my eyes looking at it.
I spent a lot of time rewinding in those special zones.
Did you actually get all the emeralds?
I did actually get all the emeralds.
I did not. I gave
At
up.
at the end, the for the very last one, I actually had to cheat in order to do it. I put in Game Genie codes that make it so that every ring in the special zone counts for 8.
Oh my gosh!
Because it gets to a point where like you basically need to get every single ring in the stage in order to make it past the checkpoint.
Wow. Well, we
Um,
didn't talk about what the worst part of it though.
oh
It's not the
yeah,
rings or the half pipe. It's the fact that there are mines that come through.
oh yeah. So there are mines littered all throughout in varying patterns. So like you have to kind of oscillate back and forth, running up on either side of the half pipe. Also, Tails is there, and guess what? Tails is now vulnerable to damage.
For the
And
first time.
for the first time ever, Tails can get hurt, he will drop any rings that he picks up, which affects your ring total, which affects your tally when you get to the checkpoint.
Right. Now,
So,
Tails does collect his own ring, so he does have his own total. But the problem is a lot of the formations, especially like I think the special stage 2 onward, will have like wide areas of rings that you need to like be moving back and forth so that you get like Tails off centered from you so that he collects, basically all the ones you're intentionally missing.
mhm.
So it's not like he just loses a few bonus ones for you. Like you need Tails to be collecting rings for you. But he
Yeah,
jumps like a solid second after you do. So if you try to like cut something close, you're like, oh, I barely avoided that. Tails is going to get hit.
yeah. It's really rough, and I was only able to get all the Chaos Emeralds because I did a lot of rewinding and a lot of cheating. I stayed pretty true to my word. I only rewinded like a couple of times throughout the stages, but generally, I tried not to.
Hmm.
I rewinded like crazy in the special stages. That's
I
the only
tried.
way that I was able to get like a good enough run on any of them.
I got 4, and on the 5th one, I gave up. I was like, I'm going to hate this game if I keep trying to get all of the
Hmm.
Chaos Emeralds. So
Yeah, it's really rough. I feel like they kind of figured it out. Like it's by 3, they kind of got it. It's still not great. It's still hard to look at, but like
yeah,
running the blue ball sphere in 3 is a lot easier to look at than any of these. So
yeah,
when we do eventually play Sonic 3,
I'm sure we
um,
will.
I'm excited about that. Um, but yeah, oh, the accessing the special stages is a little different. So you have a lot more opportunities, which now that I think about it, they kind of set it up so that like it is easier to get to the stages than before, but
Yeah.
because of that, the stages are more difficult. So you have
Right.
more opportunities to attempt to get the emeralds, because what it is when you go past a goalpost, or a checkpoint. When you go past a checkpoint, if you have 50 rings, then a portal will open and you can jump into it and go to the special stage. Um, so you have a few more opportunities to get it. Um,
Right. Yeah, which is really necessary because you kind of have to memorize the layouts.
yeah,
There are times
it's
you're like, how would I have known to go to that inside wall there for those rings or whatever? So,
yeah, it just feels supremely unfair the
or
way
like
that.
having to memorize when you have to jump so that Tails doesn't get hit by stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I also wanted to talk about a new power up that was introduced into this game that's just useless. That is the speed shoes.
Yeah, I hated these every single time I got them.
So the first one is in Emerald Hill, right?
Hmm.
And it's perfectly placed because it shows off like everything that Genesis can do. Like you get moving so fast, and the level design is super linear, so you get to see all these like crazy twists and everything. And it's like, whoa, that's really cool. Then every other time after that is not only useless, but like poorly positioned. So they'll give you like speed shoes right before the most intense platforming section of a zone. You're like, why do I need these? And oftentimes I just sat there waiting for it to end so I could actually do the platforming to play the game.
Yeah.
So of all the, like the getting shields, invincibility, rings, even anything else would have been more useful. Speed shoes are just worthless, and they're in like every other game after this for some reason.
Hmm. Oh, we haven't even talked about they messed with Sonic's moveset a little bit.
Oh, that's
So
right.
this is the one where they do the spin dash. You hold down, press the jump button a few times, and then you basically charge up a rolling dash, which you can use to go up ramps or slopes, a lot quicker than trying to like gradually build up speed from running.
Right.
I think that is a welcome addition. I had a weird feeling that like Sonic felt a little harder to control in
Hmm.
this game than he felt in the first. Like he felt a lot slower building up momentum
Huh.
than
That's
than I,
interesting. I
I,
did
I
not feel that
expected.
way.
And it felt like it took a lot longer for him to like come to a full stop so that I could do the charge.
Hmm. That's interesting.
Um,
I don't think I really noticed that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just like if it was just all in my head, or if that's really the way that it was designed. But it felt a little off, and really only like a couple of times that it felt off. Like for the most part, I felt pretty comfortable with the way that Sonic controlled.
Right.
But generally,
Like, do you mean those times when like you're trying to get Sonic to stop to do the spin dash, and he like takes two extra little steps, and then you end up pushing down and making him roll instead?
yeah, kind
Okay.
of.
Yeah, I've had that happen a few times.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just all in my head. Because like I was in. I guess I probably noticed it. Like it's probably the same as in the first game. They might have like maybe tweaked it a little bit, but I probably only noticed it because like I wouldn't have done that in the first game. I wouldn't have needed to stop and crouch.
Right. Okay. Well, do you want to talk about bosses?
Yeah, let's talk about bosses. I might need some help remembering what
Okay,
each
I
of
have the
them.
list in front of me, so that'll make it easier.
Okay.
So the first one is the Eggmobile. That's the one where he's like basically in a four-wheel car with a drill on the front.
Hmm.
This is like, I don't know, like the easiest boss in Sonic history, I think.
Yeah, it's really easy to jump over, and you basically just kind of bounce on the top of it, and then you're good to go.
I just like the idea that Eggman genuinely thought that he could stop Sonic with this boss, like with his the Eggmobile.
Yeah,
Like, this'll do it.
after being thwarted numerous times previously, he's like, "Oh, I know what'll catch Sonic: a car with a drill driving straight forward."
Um, Yeah, then I actually think the second boss, the chemical plant zone boss, is kind of, it's not hard, but it's very easy to screw up because the two sides of the stage constantly are flipping.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy to get knocked off, like right when the panels flip over, and then you die. It's just like an instant death. But it's basically Eggman with a little, I don't know, chemical arm that comes out and like drops like one drip on you. It's kind of ridiculous looking.
Yeah, Eggman's got some crazy inventions, doesn't he?
It's like, yeah, I think most of these are just like when you actually stop and think about it, it's like, why would he have done this? Why would
what
this have been his
what
master plan?
what function does this serve, Eggman?
Aquatic ruin zone. So he puts a giant hammer on the front of his Eggmobile, and you're like, oh, that's, that'll stop Sonic. Okay, I'm going to hit these two pillars that'll make arrows shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like, don't try and hit Sonic with the hammer. Hit the pillars to make platforms so Sonic can jump up and hit you.
That seems a little contrived,
Yeah,
Eggman. I think you could probably do better. That seems sort of a circuitous route towards defeating Sonic.
yeah. The Casino Night one I used to think was pretty hard. It's really just getting the timing down on doing a spin jump.
Yeah, that felt like just more annoying than difficult.
Yeah. The best strategy is just to wait in the corner,
Hmm.
facing one of the two ramps on the sides, and then like do your spin dash up and then hit jump right as you're on the wall to smack into him.
Yeah.
But
Um,
oh, the submarine one,
Oil Ocean.
is that the one? Oh, that wait, there's two submarine ones. What was the hilltop one? Oh, that was the one where he shot the fire, right? Which one was that? I gotta click on this to see. Hold on.
I can't
Okay,
remember.
it's the one where he like pops up out of the lava and then does like the one flamethrower blast and then goes back down.
Yeah. Oil Ocean had the like the laser snake.
I just like the idea that like he doesn't have any kind of camera on this, so he just like sends his arm up and then he come when he does come up to get hit. It's like it's literally just that. It's to get hit. It's like, did I get him this time? He comes up, nope. Then goes back down. Well, then two more laser blasts will do it. Then he comes up, did I get him this time? It's like I don't know. These bosses are just so stupid. Like they make me laugh every time.
They're very funny. Oh, I sure hope that Sonic doesn't jump on top of me again.
Yeah.
It's very like I understand like this is still very arcadey, but
Right.
it's just really funny to like think about this as like this is supposed to be like a super intelligent scientist guy, and he's just picking the like the least effective ways of dealing with his nemesis.
Yeah. The Mystic Cave, that's like where he has the drills and he tries to cause a cave in.
Yeah, that one was kind of fun
Yeah,
because you have to dodge some of the all the like stalactites falling off the ceiling.
right. Metropolis Zone, that was like where they ran out of ideas. They're like, what if we make a bunch of flying circles in a like UFO pattern around him? And then when you hit
Yeah,
them, then they turn into a balloon version of Eggman that bounces around the stage.
yeah.
What?
This'll this this'll this'll really blow Sonic's mind. Whoa, two Eggmen!
Which one's the real one?
And then when you pop one, he's like, "Oh, I better! You can't believe he popped one. I better get down to investigate." And then he hovers down within reach.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't do that until you pop the copy.
Right, right. He just sits up there like waiting, just like I
Any
guess
day,
Ben.
Sonic.
um, oh yeah, then Mecha Sonic. That was the. Well, I guess there's the barrier one from Wing Fortress.
Yeah, that one was kind of. That was eh. It was pretty intense because there's like a lot of stuff happening all at once.
Right.
It felt like the most chaotic one of the bunch. Um, but it was all right. And then Metal Sonic,
Mecha Sonic.
Mecha Sonic. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, this is like the proto Metal Sonic.
Okay, we don't get Metal Sonic until Sonic CD, and I don't want to play that one. I
Well, now we've
really,
got to since you've said that.
I really don't want to play Sonic CD.
That is canonically the next game in the series. It takes place
Hmm.
between 2 and 3.
I shouldn't have said anything because we could have just gone straight to 3.
Yeah, what do you think of Mecha Sonic?
He's kind of boring, honestly.
Yeah,
He was not much not much of a threat.
right. Now, I did think the what is it, the Death Egg robot final boss? I did think that one was pretty cool.
Yeah, I really liked that because it felt like I guess partly because it's a different it's a different boss. Like Eggman is finally getting in a big robot and actually like trying to hurt you
Right.
instead of just like hitting a pillar that shoots arrows at you.
That
Um,
clearly blinks which one it's going to fire out of.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that one was a lot of fun. It I don't know. It was over pretty quickly. I guess it going from like you go into the Mecha Sonic fight without any rings, and then go straight from that to
Yeah,
uh
the end of the game can be pretty tough.
the big robot egg, the Death Egg or whatever.
Right.
Um, so that's pretty intense. There's a lot. I think it was a better final boss than what we got in the first game.
Then, like Eggman hiding inside of pistons, like, you'll
Yeah.
never find me in this one. Haha, now I'm in this one.
Yeah. And then I guess I could tell you how the game ends when you have
Yeah,
when you have Supersonic.
it's got to be more exciting than the first one, right?
Uh, well, so I was expecting like some kind of fight, I guess.
Yeah.
Sonic just kind of
Does he go super in this one?
yeah, he does. But it's only for like a cutscene.
So you don't even get to play as Supersonic?
I mean, if you unlock Supersonic, then you can play as Supersonic. But I only
Okay.
got it to like right at the very end.
Gotcha.
So like I didn't get it. I didn't actually get a chance to use it before the game was over. Um, yeah, he. I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes, but like he falls off of the um, falls off of the spaceship. Tails catches him and he goes Super Saiyan and he flies, and then like Tails does a loop de loop and they have a freeze frame
Mm.
and roll credits.
So slightly better than the first game, but only because the first game was just that much more disappointing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if like maybe it ends differently if you do the bot like the last boss as Supersonic.
Mm. Well,
Um,
doesn't it rely on rings though? Like one ring per second or something?
yeah,
So I don't
I
know how
think
you would
so.
have. I don't know if you'd even have access to. I've never unlocked Supersonic because like those special stages are just too
Yeah,
great of a barrier
the
to entry.
the last one is insanely difficult because there are segments where like rings are just scattered with no pattern at all. They're just everywhere,
Oh,
and then they're like tightly oscillating patterns that it's just a
that's
nightmare to
that just
navigate.
sounds gross.
Yeah,
That just sounds gross.
it was. So you could put like if you look up a video of that part,
Did you ever get the
you'll
timing down for like going over the top of the half pipe?
no, I couldn't figure it out. I wanted to so badly because it would have been so cool, but it's like if you just hold left or right, you go too fast, so you have to like kind of tap it. But you
Then you
lose.
start to lose too much speed. Yeah.
Yeah, you lose momentum so fast. So like getting the timing on it is just really really tricky. And if you lose too much, then you just kind of like drop down out of the air.
Yeah. So, any closing thoughts?
Um, I liked this a lot. Um,
Oh, we gotta put these on the tier list. I didn't remember we were gonna start doing that until I went back and edited one of our other episodes.
yeah. Um, hmm. It's a solid improvement on the first game. I think there's still stuff about the first game that I really like. That I that that stands out. Like it's just it's very much the first Sonic game, but this the second one very much feels like this is the formula that will establish the franchise.
Yeah, I still think it's the best, but that's just my opinion.
Hmm.
I think it just has like the most consistently like interesting and good stages, and soundtrack. I mean, aside from the special stage, obviously. um, but yeah, this is still my favorite entry in the series for sure.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's a solid upgrade over the first. I think mechanically, it's a lot more fun to play. Level design is solid through and through, more or less. Like there are only like a couple of spots that are kind of rough. Like the Winged Fortress is kind of eh.
Yep.
Um, and I don't know if that's mostly just because of the music.
No, I
Um,
think the level design's not particularly great, and
that's true.
it harkens back to the first game in like all the worst ways.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, and the palette for it is just kind of really dull because there's just
Yeah.
a lot of like tan expanse, which
Yep.
is just like not really not really into that.
Right.
But like every other stage like just looks really really unique. Like Mystic Cave Zone is a lot of fun. Sky Hill Zone is really cool. Oil Ocean I think is probably one of my favorites.
Hmm.
Um, and who can forget Chemical Plant Zone?
Yeah. Yeah. I love in Oil Ocean that there's like floating platforms that go up from the pressure on like the pipe.
Yeah,
That's just such a cool idea.
yeah. It's just really neat. There's an awful lot of fire happening around around Oil Ocean,
Yes,
which
there
is
is.
especially funny in Mania because you can get the fire shield and set fire to the ocean. So that's pretty fun.
I forgot you could do that.
Yeah, yeah. One of these days, I guess we'll have to. I mean, I guess this is kind of our Sonic expedition. We
Yeah,
got to
we'll,
play
we'll
all the
go we'll go
Sonic
through them
games.
all.
Yeah.
We'll touch on them all
Oh
eventually.
gosh, oh gosh, we're writing checks. I don't think we're ready to cash.
Yeah, I
Um,
haven't played all of them, so that should make it even more interesting.
yeah,
I
me
played most
either.
of them. There's
Especially
just
the
a few
3D
that I haven't.
ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've
Oh,
played like only a handful of them, and not even really for very long.
okay. It's gonna be fun. I feel like this is kind of gonna be our like fallback franchise to just kind of like because almost every game has some like controversial elements to it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Mm-hmm.
feel like this Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles are probably the three least controversial Sonic games in the series.
Yeah, and you could
And
definitely
Mania, of
see that
course.
when you look at games like Sonic Generations or Sonic Mania because they take a lot of cues specifically from those games.
Right, right.
So, but I'm definitely interested in checking out the series as a whole, including the 3D games, because I feel like there's certainly a lot of maybe not so good stuff in those titles, but
Hmm.
also I'm interested in seeing what is good about those games.
Yeah. For example, I really like Sonic Heroes. It's not a good game at all, but it's one of the most charming games, 3D Sonic games in the series.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that'll be a fun one to go back to.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got to do CD at some point, though.
I opened my big mouth and said it. So
I forget about that one all the time. So
yeah, it's just like the past future stuff is just like really confusing and hard
yeah,
to do. I remember it being very hard to do. So I'm not looking forward to that. And
it's a
also,
very ambitious idea that was executed very poorly. I
yeah,
don't need to replay it to know that. I've played it recently enough.
yeah. But yeah, what are we? I guess that about wraps it up for Sonic.
Yeah.
What are we gonna play for next podcast?
So we are going to be playing through Metroid Other M in respect of Sonic. Sorry, I almost said Sonic Dread. Wow, Metroid Dread coming out on October 8th. So I think we're going to be trying to play Other M and then Fusion, so that we're basically caught up story wise. I mean, we both played those games already, but
Yeah.
it's a
So
good refresher.
yeah, so this is your spoiler alert. If you're looking forward to Metroid Dread, but you don't want like story spoilers, I guess we're going to be talking about a lot of Metroid story
Yeah, for sure.
next week. So are we going to be talking about Other M and Fusion, or are we going to try and split those up
Oh,
into
split them up
separate?
for sure.
Okay, okay.
And we'll see.
So
I might need 2 weeks on Other M. We'll see,
okay, that's fine.
depending on my schedule. So
Okay. Well, if you need more time, then like I have other stuff that I can look into and talk about because
okay.
I don't know if I talked about it during the recording, but one of the ideas that we talked about was like doing research on different game topics, just like historical stuff that we could discuss and research. Just kind of take a look at. So if you need more time, then I can certainly put something together.
Okay. Were we going to go year by year? Probably should have talked about this off off recording.
I don't know. I just sort of figured like we would just kind of like pick stuff that seemed interesting.
Okay.
Because like off the top of my head, I can think of like a few topics that would be really fun to research and talk about.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, that's my fallback plan if we don't have something to talk about.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's about it.
Yeah, I guess that's about it.
I was looking through my notes. I'm like, yeah, that was the last thing we were gonna do. I guess this is our outro now.
We did it all.
Yeah, we did it in a pretty good time too. I don't
Yeah.
think we took too long. I feel like our Sonic One discussion went on like super long.
Yeah. Well, it's
I think it had more issues though, so I think that made it.
mhm.
There's more stuff like because it was so inconsistent. We kind of had to talk about like every single zone in detail.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. It was a consistency thing because Sonic Two, for sure, is a more consistent product all the way through. Like every single zone, it feels distinct, but the level design is still solid. There are multiple ways through, and it never feels like stale.
Yeah, and there's always speed sections in every stage,
Yeah,
as opposed to I don't know, Marble Zone
yeah,
with its nice mechanics of waiting
my favorite.
and getting hit by enemies with tiny hitboxes.
Yeah. More, please. Waiter, more of this, please.
All right, yeah. So that is our show for this week. Probably, yeah. I guess we'll say 2 weeks for Other M, just because.
Okay. All right. I'll think of something to make our discussion topic. And,
Okay. It'll be a surprise for me and the audience.
Well, I'll probably give you a little bit of a heads up so that you can kind of like know what you're getting into.
Or it can just be a total surprise.
It could just be a total surprise. Do you want it like that?
I don't know.
Do you want me to do that to you?
Got to think about it, I guess.
No, I'll probably give you a heads up.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
That'd make the most sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening. Tune in next week when we talk about video games. Shocker.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
All right. Take care.